We're on.
All right, welcome to the Sweet Talk. Welcome back to school edition of the Sweet Talk. It is the beginning of August, and I know many of you out there, especially on the West Coast, are getting ready to start school back up again. Those of us here on the East Coast, obviously, we have a couple more weeks before we get kicking on things, but we're going to share some some good, some not so great updates, some things that we're excited about, some things that we wanted to let everybody know, and get you ready to go with some good things for back to school with Google Classroom and YouTube. So I'm Brian Costello, and this is Kim Matina, and we are here with the Sweet Talk. I'm going to give a couple quick updates and shout outs. Kim and I have been busy this summer with trainings and going different places. I know I was out in California. I want to give a great big shout out to the Q Rockstar organization for having me out in Oxnard for a great time. And one other thing I'm really proud of, really excited to share, uh, is that I have a story in this new book called Fueled by Coffee with Love, or excuse me, Fueled by Coffee and Love, which was curated by Mara Venturino. Great stories, all full by real educators. And the cool thing about this book is all the proceeds go to fund teachers' Donors Choose projects. So check it out. It's a great book full of, it's like chicken soup for the teacher's soul, only it's written by real teachers. So go ahead and give it a shot. And yeah, Kim, you want to say hello anyway? I know that we have some people who've been supporting us and uh, give a shout out to a couple of those or some of those people. So go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I'm really happy to be here and start our first show, back to school show. I'd like to give a shout out to Brad Curry. When he was attending the NASSP convention, he gave us a shout out to Sweet Talk for to provide information to our viewers on G Suite for Education and providing updates and technology integration about our show. And I wanted to give him a shout out and thank him for you know highly recommending our show. So I appreciate that. I also want to say that I was recently invited to attend the Google Summit in Mountain View, California. It's the Top Contributor Summit. And this is going to allow me to learn from other top contributors that help support the G Suite for Education Help Forum and other forums, that they on other apps that they provide. So I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to share my experience and blog about it. So look for information about updates when I get back from that in November.
Absolutely, that's going to be a pretty incredible experience. Absolutely, for sure. So we have some great things to talk about today. We'll jump in. Talk about Kim's going to talk about Google Classroom. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite tools that never gets talked about, which is YouTube. And we're going to share some pretty exciting things with you. So Kim, jump into Google Classroom for us. Tell us what's going on.
All right. Well, Google Classroom this week came out with some awesome updates. So a few things that I want to go over with you, and I'll share my screen, is the users wanted the ability to reorder the class cards on the home screen. So now you're going to be able to do that by simply clicking and dragging the cards around the screen. Let me see if I can share my screen and show you. So hold on. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, so what I was referring to was the class cards. This is the class card screen. Now you're going to be able to click and drag and rearrange your class cards in a specific order.
You know what, Kim? I'm not seeing. I
You're
mean,
not seeing my screen?
other people might be though. So go ahead, because the last time that was the same thing that happened. So go for it.
All right,
And
so this is the class card screen, and you're going to be able to just simply drag the class cards into a specific order. And this is helpful because sometimes teachers and students want to be able to just put their class cards, more frequent class cards, to the top of the screen, and they're going to be able to do that now. Another update that came out was decimal grading. So let me go back to my Google Hangout. Can you see me? All right, so decimal grading is now available in Google Classroom, which is a great new feature. It will allow you to provide decimal grades when you return students' work back to them. So it'll support 2 decimal points, and if there's any more than 2 decimal points, it will round down to the lowest grade. So keep that in mind. Another great feature that came out this week was the ability to project your class code to your students, so you don't have to write the class code on the board anymore. All you do is you go into the student tab and you go where the class code is, and you simply click on the drop down and you hit display, and that will display the class code large on your computer screen so that your students can easily see the class code. So that's something, that's a quick little trick.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice one
Yeah,
because
that's
I
a
know
nice
that's one of those things I kept having to do for each class, and then every once in a while I'd forget to change the code on the projector, and I'd have a different class, kids signing in the wrong class and things. So
Yeah, and
that
I always write the class code on the board, so at least now it's just shown in a large way so that everyone can see it, and I don't have to write it on the board anymore. So it's a nice little feature. Another thing that they came out with this week, which was a big request from the users of Google Classroom, was being able to transfer course ownership. So for example, if I have a co-teacher in my Google Classroom and I want to transfer my ownership to that teacher, I can simply do that now. And before, you weren't able to do that. So the thing with that is that the teacher has to be a co-teacher first in your classroom before you can transfer ownership to that person. So that's a great feature. There was another, and another nice feature that came out this week was being able to view students' work on the class card page. So if you go back to the class card page for students, you'll see an icon at the bottom with a person in it, and that if you click on that icon for that class card, it will display all of the work that you completed or need to finish for that class. So it's kind of like a summary page for that class. And that was a big request because teachers and students wanted to be able to see what was completed, what needed to be completed for that class. And this gives it a real easy, quick view or summary of that information. So that was another nice feature that came out from the team. And a couple other little things that came out this week was now the apps launcher includes the Google Classroom icon. So before, when you clicked on the apps launcher, Google Classroom wasn't there. They'd have to go through the More menu and go to Even More
and so
and
for those
find
of you
Google Classroom.
Those of you who aren't familiar with the terminology, the apps launcher is the little waffle that looks like an Eggo in the corner of the corner there. Or a Rubik's cube is what a lot of my kids have called it. So, yeah, your apps launcher up there in the corner allow you to see the different things. So yeah, that's going to be Classroom in there. That was a big complaint from a lot of my teachers.
Yeah, that was definitely a big complaint.
Also, I'm seeing your screen.
Can you see my screen here?
Yes, I can. I'm going to be quiet so you can see the screen now.
So here's the apps launcher. People refer to it as the apps launcher, the waffle icon, because it looks like a waffle. But if you click on that and you go down to More, Google Classroom shows up now in the apps launcher. Before, you'd have to go to Even More to see the Google Classroom icon. So this feature is new. One thing to keep in mind with this is if you had installed the Chrome extension, customize apps launcher Chrome extension to customize this apps launcher layout, the update didn't apply to you. So you may have to uninstall that extension to be able to implement Google Classroom in your apps launcher. I didn't test that, but that's what they had said on the team. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for your Google Classroom icon in your apps launcher. All right, let's go back into here. All right, can you see me? Okay. Let's see what else. Now admins can create classes for teachers through the admin console. So that's a big thing. And that's done through Directory Sync. So that's something that I'm really not familiar with, but they did mention it, that it came out and is available. So that's basically the Google administrator in your school district can create classes for the teachers. So the teachers really don't have to create the classes and have the students join. That Google administrator would be able to do that through a school directory sync, one roster. So that option is also available now. And there's a lot of things coming soon that I can't talk about, but I'll be happy to share once those updates come available. But I think you're going to be really excited to know what's coming out soon. These updates here were implemented because users provided feedback to the team and told the team what they needed, what they were looking for, and the team responded and gave a lot of new features for the back to school year. So I hope that everyone can enjoy them. Please continue to leave the team feedback by clicking on the question mark
They
at
really
the bottom
do
of the
respond to the
screen.
question mark. Yeah,
Yeah, in Google Classroom. I mean, really, they take all of the requests and the suggestions, they prioritize them, and they go through them to implement which ones are going to be added first. So please continue to leave feedback.
Yeah, and those are some really great updates. Things that some of them seem small, but they're little things that will make it just a lot easier for you to manage and use your Google Classrooms. And I'm not as familiar as Kim is with the new things that will be coming out in Google Classroom, so I'm pretty excited about the things that she hasn't told you about because I haven't heard them either. I haven't heard them. I haven't looked. It was one of those things I was going to start looking at in the next couple of weeks because for me, I don't have any. I'm not doing any classroom training this summer, and Google Classroom training, and I'm not. I figured I have a couple weeks. I'll start looking at the updates to Classroom so I can get everybody started. So one of that transfer ownership thing that you shared was great because I create classrooms for all the teachers I work with, and I really want them to take ownership this year. So if I help them set them up and then transfer ownership to them, that will be that'd be a great way to get that started. So
yeah, I wrote a blog post about all of the updates that I mentioned here. You can visit my blog, the Tech Lady, km.blogspot.com, and you can see. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen, am I? Hold on.
No, not right now.
It's too early in the morning for me right now.
Get you a cup of coffee.
I need a cup of coffee. All right, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so if you go to my blog, the Tech Lady blog, the techlady-km.blogspot.com, you can see that I blogged about the most recent updates to Google Classroom, and I provided a screencast for each option that I spoke about. So you can click on that and it'll just bring up a really quick demo of how to access that update and actually, use it. So you can visit my blog. I'll put my blog link in the agenda or the notes on our website so that you can access it also from there. And I'm
Perfect.
back.
And we're back. So yeah, Kim, that's great. The updates, like I said, and the quick videos. I think that quick videos, especially, I know that's one of the things that my teachers have liked having is like the minute and a half long video that shows them the very specific thing they need to do.
If I can't do it under 2 minutes, it doesn't get done.
Yeah, something's got to go. Except for this show, this can't be done in 2 minutes.
No, this is true.
We keep trying, but we can never seem to get there.
This is true. So we have a lot to talk about.
So yeah, there's always good things coming out, and there's always good things to share. In this case, I'm going to share, when I share about YouTube, I'm going to start with something that's not so awesome. So for those of you who are familiar with using YouTube, one of the easiest ways for me to get people started was to show them the slideshow creator. because it literally took your photos from Google Photos and created a slideshow. Now, a lot of the feedback I've heard from people is great. There's going to be a lot less terrible slideshows set to music on YouTube. So when I'm looking for an actual video, I won't find like 3 slides set to a 40-minute song. That's true, but it's also so like if you're creating end of the year slideshows for people or anything that involves a lot of pictures, it was a nice feature. It's going away as of September 20th. So if you've been working in that, there are a ton of alternatives. I'm not going to go into all of them, basically because I haven't found the ones that I want to use yet. So that'll be coming in a future episode. But in September 20th, that will be going away, as well as the video editor. So one of the things that YouTube had was a video editor that was basically like a simplified version of iMovie, where you could upload a bunch of your videos together and edit them into one video, which I have used a bunch. Especially with screencasts that I was combining, like short 30, 40-second screencasts that I put together. The demo slam I did at Garden State Summit for CoSpaces was created with that video manager the video editor. And unfortunately, that will be going away as well, September 20th. So if you're working in those fields, finish your projects, publish them before September 20th, because after that, they will be gone. And the reason behind it is there are a lot of free third-party apps that do more and are continued to be more supported than those avenues.
What other apps do you consider as an alternative?
So right now, because I'm using Chromebook, and this is one of the biggest complaints, is that it takes away from Chromebook users because a lot of the things are either Mac or Windows based. But WeVideo still works really well for Chromebook. The free version you can still do a whole lot with. As I start to transition to something new, I figure probably in September or October, I will be giving an update on what I consider to be the best alternatives especially for mobile device users and Chromebook users, because that would be I think the big market that's missed by this, because there are hundreds for Mac and for Windows, but for Chromebook you have to find something web based. So I know the Play Store platform is helping out with some of the new Chromebooks, but this is a big loss for those of us who use Chromebooks and YouTube. On the other hand, I'm still going to show you some really cool YouTube things that you can do today to really engage your kids in video creation and having them start sharing what they know through video. So I'm going to share my screen and go over a couple things that you can do with YouTube that I don't think a lot of people know about. People kind of underutilize these things. So I'm going to go ahead and share. Let's see. Find the screen. No, that screen's not up. Let's see. Let's try this again. There we go. And all right, can we see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so you see that video there on YouTube. So if you're I'm going to go back to where this starts. So when you click on you can click on your little icon, your person, you go into Creator Studio. You go to this dashboard, and you'll see there's your video manager, there's the live streaming, there's all kinds of things. Basically, the create button is going to be the loss here. You're going to lose a lot of functionality there. But in the cool things that are available, so I'm going to go ahead and show you. Click on Edit for this video, and we could talk about. I do a whole session on how to use analytics and how to use cards and endnotes and annotations and all those good things. End screens and cards. But today I want to talk about enhancements. So your enhancements are basically all of your real editing tools. So I'm going to pause that for now. So you can do slow motion. Now this would be really weird while I'm talking. See, sounds terrifying. You can also speed it up. So you can do time lapse and speed the video up. You can trim. So this is pretty nice because you can cut out whole sections. You can shorten it. You can pick a spot and split it and then cut out in the middle. So while you're missing out on that, putting together a number of large video or small videos, if you have a full length video, and this is something I recommended to people anyway when you're making videos, is to make the whole thing. and then go back and edit out the parts you don't need. But it's a really nice tool for that. It's simple. It's as easy as it's going to get to create that editing. And it's a nice tool. So it's going to take a while for me to load this back up, isn't it? So back in this video manager tool, if I go back to that edit, there's two other things I want to show you. So everybody's kids love, they love Instagram, they love Snapchat, they love filters. In here, all the color filters that a lot of the color filters you'd see in Instagram. I don't want to play that. I just want to change. And it gives you a chance to preview both against each other. So I'm going to kind of show you the different ones. So like just a couple filters. You could play around with the coloration filters. You can do it manually, but you can also do it from this screen. And this is a cool filter, the sketch out one, the heat map one, all really good. Fun things for kids to play with to make their videos more interesting and exciting. And the last one that I'm really excited for teachers especially is this one, is blurring effects. So let's say, I'm going to get rid of the filter that I have on here because it just makes it too hard to really see what's going on here. So I'm going to go to blurring effects, and this is pretty cool because if you've ever had a kid who can't be on camera but wants to be part of the video, in the past, you've had to custom edit that using iMovie and other things. This has been out for a little while, but it's relatively newer than, it's not really new, but it's newer than some of the other features. Blur faces. So when I click blur faces, watch what happens as I come into the screen. I'm just going to mute this because notice here I am, my face is blurred out. It follows me around. If you have somebody who's moving really, really fast, like running, might not work that well. But as long as nobody's moving super fast, it's going to be able to follow all the faces on the video and blur them out. That's all the faces. If I take that off, there I am again. It's much better the other way. If you wanted to custom edit where the blurring is, you can pick and blur out multiple objects at multiple times just by putting a little box around the thing that you need to get off the screen. So there we go. I've already made my video better. I can stretch that out to last the whole time. The thing about the custom blurring space is it's going to stay wherever you put it and not follow the face around. So both really cool ways to help make your videos better, easier to share, function better in your classroom. And you can also have the option of, so let's say you want to keep the original so you can save it as a new video. Or if you do these things and you realize, wow, I really didn't want to do that, I can revert to the original. One last thing, the auto fixes up some of the coloration issues you might have from the lighting, and stabilize if you have a kid who's holding the camera, which is a fun way to have kids making videos. They like to hold the camera. They like to be the ones doing the work, doing the creation. Hit that stabilize button and it will take out a lot of the bumps and shakes in your creation. So a lot of really, really good video tools that are free, that are easy to use, that are already in your YouTube account. So if you're making videos or your kids are making videos, you can 100%. I had teachers who'd never done this before who started, who incorporated slow motion and spliced videos together and all kinds of things within a half hour or 45 minutes. So it's not something that's too hard to do. Again, you just go into your icon, into the Creator Studio. You go to the Video Manager, and all these options are still there. So while you are losing a couple of really cool options, really good things that make it easy to get started, you are absolutely 100% still able to use some of the best options out there on YouTube for video creation and editing. So like I said, I will, in a future show, I'll give some updates on what I think are the best ways to, let's see. There we go. So give some updates on some of the best third-party apps that'll be used to make slideshows, to to layer together multiple videos. I know people like Animoto for some of the slideshow things. But since I've been using the YouTube video creators exclusively, I definitely need to play around with some more of them. This is pretty relatively new news that would be going away. We found out last week. So,
yeah, I like the blur faces feature, because if you have students that aren't allowed to be on, the internet or social media, you can blur out their faces very easily rather than editing the whole video. You just click on that option. That's so easy.
Or singling that kid out as the camera person every time.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a great feature. I always use it for just trimming videos. I don't really use any other enhancements other than the trim feature.
Yeah, and it's funny because people don't really realize how many there are there, but there's some ways. So like, one of the things I showed when I was out in California was I made a 30-second video accidentally while I was working on using the live streaming, using an encoder for live streaming. I forgot that it was still recording. So I wasn't really paying attention, and it recorded about 30 seconds of me checking my email. So I showed people, I'm like, look, this is how you can make a really horrible, boring video really interesting. So I took out the color and made it the sketch line. So it's the sketch line of my profile, like my surroundings of myself, looking at my computer, kind of slowly moving. I slowed the time down just a little bit, and I set it to some really dramatic music. And all of a sudden it was, you were waiting for someone to come up behind me with like an axe, because that's how there was very tense 30 seconds of video out of what was a really boring video of me kind of checking my email. So it's fun. You can play around with it. You can really make the content more interesting, make the content, create that content in a way that will get your students into video creation, and also help a lot of them, your students that are not great at expressing themselves in other ways. So just a good avenue to have out there. And YouTube is a very underutilized tool. Part of the reason is because it's blocked in a lot of places. But your kids want to be YouTubers. Trust me that the kids in your class, whether they're in kindergarten and first grade or in high school, they either want to be YouTubers, they're on YouTube, or they think they're YouTubers. So leveraging that as a tool is, I think, something we need to do a better job of as educators in general. But it's out there. There's some good things, good resources, and I'm going to continue to share some of those on the show as we go forward.
Great. I'll be looking forward to hearing your alternatives and finding out any of the new updates about the YouTube app.
Absolutely. So that's our show for this week, month. It's been a little while since we've done one, but we're probably going to come back again in a couple weeks and do some more. Back to school is starting to kick up in full swing, not just on the West Coast, but I know a lot of us here are starting to get back into that school mindset and back into ready to go after a refreshing short time off. So we're going to be coming back with some more exciting things in the next few weeks, share our things with everybody as they come out. So thanks again for watching the Sweet Talk. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss when the next show is going to be. And we appreciate you checking out the show. So for myself, Kim, and all those who are watching, thank you very much. And we look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right. Take care. Till next time. Bye.